Hi, I'm Adriana, trauma-informed yoga instructor and physiotherapist, and today is our second of 7 in the trauma-informed yoga series focusing on healing after trauma. Today's practice is all about finding self-trust. Grab your yoga mat, bolster or pillow might be handy, and we'll get started. Just like in the first day, I will start today's class with a quote. This quote is by Tracy Ballot. Self-trust blooms with each promise kept to yourself. Self-trust honors your intuition and always follows your heart. Throughout this class, I invite you to honor your intuition and follow your heart to what feels best for you. I'll be starting in sitting, if you would like to join me here. You can keep the eyes open or you can close them. Grounding into the moment. Noticing your body as it rests on your yoga mat or as it rests on your bolster or pillow. Gaining self-trust throughout this practice that you can decide to do anything that I say or you can decide to do something different. Following that sense of self-trust. You could join me in doing a little body circles, moving back and forth. Noticing how this feels in the back, in the hips, in the neck. Circling the other direction if you choose to do so. Making gentle movements of the spine here. You could sway with these circles. Trust whatever your body wants. Listen to that intuitive call, that intuitive pull. And if that's something you're not used to doing, you haven't done in a while, you've never done, this is an opportunity to practice if you'd like. Once you've had enough swaying and circling, I invite you to take your left arm and place it down either on your bolster or on the ground beneath you. And lift the right arm above your head, reaching over to the other side, keeping that right hip down, getting a side body stretch. You could look at that hand up above, getting a bit of a neck stretch as well. And the next exhale, coming back to start, reaching that right arm down, lifting the left one overhead. Looking up at that hand if you choose to do so, pushing down through the bottom arm. On an exhale, coming back to start. Moving into a seated twist here. I invite you to take the left hand, place it behind you. Right arm will rest on the left leg, twisting over to the left. Body tall. Head and back can turn as far as feels comfortable. Leaning into that trust that you know when to stop. On an exhale, coming back to center, repeating to the other side, taking the right hand behind you, left arm rests on the right leg, twisting over to the right. Once again, finding that inner knowing that you know when to stop. On an exhale, coming back to center. If there's anything else your body is asking of you to do sitting, you can do that now. Or you can join me on hands and knees for cat-cow. if joining me in cat-cow, pushing down through the hands and feet as you round the spine, tailbone goes under, chin to chest. Inhale, lowering the stomach to the ground, tailbone goes up, head goes as high as feels comfortable. Exhale, rounding, chin to chest, tailbone goes under. Inhale, lowering, tailbone goes up, head goes up. Moving at your own pace, in your own way, maybe finding the circles and the swaying in cat-cow just as you did in sitting. Maybe you don't. Honoring what your heart wants today, what your body wants today. Trusting that you know what is best for you. Making your way up to standing, however feels good. Once standing, joining me in the middle of your mat. Moving into Warrior 2, I invite you to take the left leg, bring it forward, facing that foot, the short end of your mat. The back leg, the right foot, can face the length of your mat. Then you can bend through that front knee, keeping the hips facing the length of your mat. Arms could go up, they could stay by your sides, head could look forward, head could look backwards, checking that back arm to see if it's level with the front. Breathing here. On your next breath, if you would like, joining me in triangle, pushing your hips backwards. So now the front leg is straight. Taking the front arm, lowering it so it's resting on the inside of that front leg as far as feels good. Trust yourself. Other arm can stay down or it can reach up. You could decide to look up. You could decide to look straight. You could decide to look down. Finding what feels good, finding what your heart wants. On your next breath, slowly rising, repeating the same thing on the other side. So taking this right foot now, turning it so it's the length of your mat, taking the right foot, turning it so it's the short end. And then once again, Warrior 2 here, bending through the top leg or the front leg, turning the body out. Arms can go up, arms can stay down. Looking forward, looking back, checking the arms if they are both up. Deep breath here. On an exhale, if joining me in triangle, straightening the legs, pushing the hips backwards, taking that right hand, sliding it down the front leg. Left arm can rest on the hips. Left arm can go up in the sky. Find what feels good. Find what your heart wants. Find that trust. I'm going to say that a lot today. You could stay here longer if you would like. If this feels like a good time to stop, then I invite you to come back up to standing. Stepping to the top of your mat, flowing with me down to our stomachs. If you would like to just join me on your stomach, feel free to do so. If you're flowing with me, you can bring your arms up above your head and lower them down, rounding one vertebrae at a time. As you inhale, bringing those hands to rest on your shins, looking down at your mat. As you exhale, placing the hands on the mat, bringing the legs behind you, staying up in a plank, or bringing those knees down. And lowering your body to the ground. From here, resting the hands near your chest, gently lifting to baby cobra. On an exhale, coming back briefly into child's form, bringing the hips back towards the feet, arms forward, opposite back stretch here that we just did. And taking yourself onto your back. Few more yoga shapes here. Keeping those knees bent, the feet resting on your mat. You could slowly go side to side, rocking that body left and right, going as little or as big as you would like with these movements, leaning into that trust, leaning in to honoring your body's needs, knowing if it wants big movements or small movements, if it wants stillness, if it wants slow movements or fast movements. There are so many different ways to move. This is an opportunity to test out what feels good and to trust that you can find that. Keeping the feet planted here, knees bent. You could take the hands and rest them behind your head so that the elbows rest out onto the ground. Gentle stretch through the chest here. Thinking about bringing that chest forward slightly, a brief little arch in that upper back, if that feels good for you. And letting go of those arms on your own time, finding your final resting shape, however that looks, bolsters, blankets, pillows encouraged. Honoring your heart, honoring what calls to you. Resting here for as long as your heart desires. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. I will see you next time for our third day of the Healing After Trauma series.